Alright, hello to anybody that's chiming in. Going to be doing some little bit of model repairs and some templating for Twinmotion 2021 for a client. I do something where I take a project that's unfurnished and fixtures and everything aren't picked out, finishes aren't picked out, and then I do a full interior design package and video walkthrough, and also do a full exterior as well. So this is just the first part of that. So this is the folder containing the files that I had received. So I'm going to copy and paste these, and then I'm going to rename it today's date, which is 21/06/09. So year, month, day, great naming convention. And for the case of this, there's no vision or revision or design review version, so it's just going to be -N for new, and then open this guy up. So this is the first time I'm looking at this particular project. Let's just get to a better working plan view. This is someone else's template, so I like to clean up these templates just for myself so that I can see a little bit better. I'm going to turn off these snap grids. I'm going to turn off the regular grid, and I'm going to start making some of these elements just disappear in my working view. By opening up active layer display options, nicknamed Aldo. Let's get rid of these rafters. I don't need to see electrical. I don't really need to see a lot of these elements. I'm going to shrink down things like the room label. In fact, we'll just change all these labels because, sorry Chief, but I don't like your font. It's very sansy, pun intended. And then let's do, room labels can be knocked down quite a bit. There we go, that's a little easier to see. So this is just me cleaning up this working view so I can get a better idea of what I'm looking at. I actually don't need to see dimensions for the purpose of this service that I offer, and I don't even need to see most labels as well as most electrical. So there you go, makes me be able to see some of these things. I know from this particular developer already that things like the fireplace that they build into their models are a little on the lower end. Hey Chris, the other live streamer, the woman came in and asked if you're still live streaming. Was pretty mean. Oh shoot, I missed that. So here I am again. I got interrupted, but doing a live stream again and taking a look at a model from another designer slash developer. It looks like my encoder's overloaded, so sorry if this is freezing at all. Looks like this particular plan has no floors. Interesting. And you can see here the model definitely needs some repair work done. I'm going to change this fireplace out. I'm going to end up probably rebuilding this kitchen, making it look a little bit nicer. And we'll do a full walk through the space. Before I even do that, I can't stand looking at this. So let's just fix the floors. I'm going to go to my default floor settings. Looks like we're on second floor, so let's just edit this. And yeah, floor structure. Let's go back. I want to leave their floor structure the way they have it drawn, but I want to add floor finish, so that should change a few things. And since this project's going to be pushed to Twinmotion, I'm in this particular developer's project folder in my library here on the right hand side, and I have a couple tools to prep this for Twinmotion, which is that when I put a material on a wall in Chief Architect, well, the wall in Chief Architect is a component, so the material ID is unique to that component. But when you export this to Twinmotion, that material ID will share the same material ID with anything else that is painted with the same material, which means I can't change one wall from the next in Twinmotion without doing some workarounds. So if a wall carries through, even though it's interceded by an adjacent wall or an adjacent wall, that material will still carry through the wall in Twinmotion. So I need to go ahead and paint some of these rooms, which I've got some pre-done style palettes so that I can do a full room here with a style palette. Looks like this is an open below room, so it's going to produce a molding. We'll have to remove that molding, and let's just call this the living room. And so what this is doing is it's painting the walls a different color. It's also tagging it so that I know what I'm even doing when I'm in Twinmotion. And then the last part of this is it's just making sure these uniforms are, these moldings are uniform. This looks like it might be, so kitchen. And then I might go through and just touch up a couple of these details, like I'm not going to split the color in the middle of this room, so I'll carry that through. As well as over here. So if I do decide to change colors, this should be a lot easier to do. And let's just take a look at this fireplace. I don't like this symbol that he's using. I'm going to bring in my own mantle in Twinmotion. And we've got a fireplace chute room. So we'll go ahead and paint that in here. Puts a brick texture on this fireplace chute. At least it should here. There we go. Gets rid of the molding. Should get rid of this electrical item. And let's just get back into plan view and I will fix this mantle. I have a mantle tool using a hearth. I have a hearth tool using a cabinet, but cabinets don't like angles, so we're just going to stick with this P solid. And so probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to make this, the height is we're going to drop an inch off of this, or an inch and a half. So minus 1.5, and then absolute elevation, we're just going to do minus 1.5. And then what we'll do is copy him and hold it in place. And then we're going to minus 14.5. And then we're going to plus 14.5. And now we've got that. So back in 3D. X-13 likes to kind of take its time here. What happened here? Oh, that didn't quite work. So this needs to be there. And we're going to go 1.5 in this direction. A little overhang. Actually, I might want to fix that because it's overhanging our casing. So let's actually pull this back. And I want to know how far I'm pulling this back. So I'm going to hit tab. Oops, which I had control key on, so that didn't work. Let's try it again. Pull this back. Tab in, let's call it 5 inches. Which means we're going to pull this guy back. Oops, 4.5 is what I wanted. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. And then we're just gonna paint these guys some neon. That way they're not sharing with a concrete slab foundation. And I have my own fireplace symbol, so we'll get rid of that. You can make any symbol cut into a wall, so if you want a particular look that is cutting into a wall, like this guy right here will do. Looks pretty nice. And we'll center him up. Getting some lag here. There we go. Hit the C key, concentric resizing. And that looks a little bit better. That looks like it's ready to go. And let's figure out what's going on here. Let's just go, I've got a shaker that I like to use. Shaker modern, sure. And let's just hit this room with this. We're going to end up changing colors. Some funny stylings going on in here. Let's give this a couple different options for the hood. Huh. That's funny, that didn't work. Did work. Where did it end up? Okay, and let's get our backsplash in here. Probably give a couple different options for the backsplash. So that's full backsplash across, and then very easy to just drag this down and save him on a different layer. And in fact, I actually want to shift select. I'm going to CAD block this so that it's no longer seen as a backsplash. And then I'm going to open it and save it on a different layer. Let's just call it export 1. That way I can make export 1 disappear and we'll get a new backsplash on here so that we have a few options. Funny, it's still showing up. Even though we've got that export 1 turned off, it still wants to show up. Interesting. A little glitchy X-13. This is one ugly kitchen. I'm gonna do some touch-ups. So just gonna make a break there. We're gonna do a backsplash where we're coming up right through the middle here. Let's just pull that other side. Yep, gonna snap it to center of this and then duplicate, reflect about. And then just make sure, I should have made sure I pulled it all the way up to the ceiling. So now we've got a couple different backsplash options for Twinmotion when I export. And I might throw in a couple more hoods. Definitely going to be replacing this guy here because he's ugly. Looks like we need to detail these cabinets just a bit. Oops, that didn't turn. This refrigerator is just silly, slamming it up against the wall and casing like that. So we're probably going to move this cabinet over. And since we have the ability to, why don't we just use a full height instead of this paneled guy? Let's make him 27, so we're going to pull him out 3 inches. And we're going to do this, but we're going to minus, I'd say, 3 inches. And we'll add some filler there. Actually does automatic filler. Now we can center this on this cabinet, and let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to make this just be, oops. This is going to be an opening. We're going to make this 0 shelves. And let's make this 73. There we go. That looks a little bit more like full cabinet. Let's just match this face. Get back to the front. I'm going to delete this little guy here. Hopefully opening separation. Yep, there we go. So that should look a little bit more like a refrigerator cabinet pulled off the wall. Probably get rid of this fridge too. In fact, I've got a fridge I like to use. He's right here. So I'm hoping by showing people these drafting sessions that you're just picking up maybe some tools, and also letting you know that I goof up too quite a bit. I've got selection mode contained right now, which is why I'm able to just select whatever I want to instead of everything that's intersected. So intersected selection mode is kind of a pain in the butt. But the contain mode is nice because you can kind of pick things as you need them. Why don't we put a filler instead of in between the cabinets next to the oven cabinet? We pull the oven cabinet over. Makes a lot more sense. There we go. So now, and also, let's make this 27-inch cabinet. That was tab, then hitting the 3-inch on the input. We should start to see a kitchen that's making a little bit more sense. Oh, let's see, that cabinet's 96 inches by default. Okay. Hopefully that's a locked size. Yeah, it is. There we go. Now that's looking a little nicer of a kitchen, ignoring the backsplash. Let's get rid of this terrible sink. Get something a little nicer in there. And bring this forward a couple inches. Oops, this should be, there we go, maybe even further. And I'm not going to worry too much about my faucet because I've got some faucets in Twinmotion that I could use. Or I could dig through the Kohler catalog, but for right now, let's just get past that because I want to show you guys bathrooms as well. I'm going to get rid of this dishwasher because it's hideous. I also just don't know what's going on here. Why why the big filler on either side seems like a waste. Maybe just because they're trying to center the sink up. And probably going to do a redesign on this table deal that they've got going on here. Makes no sense to put a drawer cabinet up against this table, so that doesn't make a lick of sense to me. So maybe we're going to have a blank cabinet here butted up to this maybe double door cabinet. Let's just give this a full double door. Oops, didn't want to do that to the room. Let's just do it to the object itself. If you can't tell, my edit toolbar is up at the top here. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to delete this and just keep this cabinet I've already got drawn and duplicate him about center. Should be center on the room, but oh, that didn't work out. Let's try that again. Duplicate and then rotate about. Maybe we can do it about this table. There we go. Looks like we needed a filler here. Thought we moved this over already, but guess not. Okay, so bumping wasn't working when we moved that the first time. And then we've got some weird outlet. I'm just going to delete this. I know this is some kind of code requirement that was happening. Not exactly sure what was going on here with these outlets or what the thought is with this island, but we're just going to make it work. Let's go ahead and look at a few other things. So in 3D, I want to make sure my doors are open when I'm presenting a room. And unfortunately, there's no fix for this in X-13 yet. We can't in 3D drag this door open any further, so we got to come into our data box and manually open it up a little bit further. And I just want to make sure all doors for the path of travel for the video that I want to produce are open. And then what I'll end up doing is animating these doors. Another thing I'll do is I'm not too worried about door hardware. The one tricky thing about Chief when you export a Chief door is that Chief couples your hardware together with your casing, which is a really unfortunate thing. So that being said, I'm just going to remove all hardware for the whole plan. Not worried about it. Doesn't help my rendering to show that hardware, so I'd rather just have it gone. So we've got, let's see, room types again. So it looks like this is a laundry room. Let's color this up. And I had that in the room paint mode, so I need to back out a little bit. Okay, let's try this again. So we're going to just do an object, paint this room, and it looks like we've got a closet room, paint that room. This is a garage. I'm going to open this door. Something's not defined in this because the tool is not picking up the paint. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. It's the slab that's ill-defined because there's no floor surface. Interesting. Oh, and then we've got a bathroom. Do we have another entrance to this bathroom? We do. So what's our main entrance? That's the only one I want to have open. That looks like interesting. You walk through the toilet to get to the bathroom. And then there's a bedroom. So let's open this up. Assuming this is a bedroom, let's just take, yeah, this is definitely a bedroom. So Just call this bed 2. Should get us back to a default floor with the tool itself. There we go. And we've got a bathroom. And we've got a goofy looking shower. So let's just go ahead and cut this all up and change this. In fact, I just want to make sure that, where are we? We are, oh, it's a master bathroom. Okay. I want to snap to this, so I'm going to just put a polyline in there because I'm going to delete this and use my own shower pony wall. Getting a little bit of lag because we're streaming. Sorry about that. The tools are having a tough time catching up to what I'm actually doing. But what we did there was we snapped to the portion of the half wall. So what I'll do now is I'm going to break on that portion, and one side of this wall is going to be 42 inches high. So underneath our wall types, I want height off floor is going to be 42. Now what I want is, let me go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to say 42 inches and then minus that. And that's because now I want to copy this. I'm going to copy this. So now I want 42 inches, and then under here I'm going to minus what I had just copied. And what that's going to do is keep my wall caps intact the way that they should be, but leave this other section with a 4.5 inch curve. And the wall types, or 5 5/8 inch curve in this case. And then the last part of this is I've got a shower door that I've built that I like. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then we've also got, last bit of this is we've got a shower room. Once all that's done, let's go ahead and pull in a wall elevation. And with a backsplash tool, let's just go ahead and draw this out. And it didn't want to draw it out. Now I want to get the exact height here. Now, I mean, it shows you the height here, but we can come down here and hit tab, and then we can do, and that's bringing it down 75 5/8. I want it to be overall, I don't know, maybe an 85. What is this here? 102 3/8. There's a trick for this. I'm not sure what it is because temporary dimensions won't let us actually say set this dimension. I could just draw a polyline and go 105, and that didn't do anything, right? Let's try that again. 105 polar relatives to start, and then we can snap to that. Simple enough. Let's Control W to close that window. No, I don't want to save it. And let's pull another elevation. And we're going to get our backsplash in on this side. And we're going to make sure it passes our little half wall there. Don't know what this is. Looks like they tried to draw backsplash. Going to get rid of it. Same thing. Let's just draw that polyline. 105. Great thing about X-13. Let's hit our edit active view, and then I'm going to change from clip to room. I'm going to uncheck that, and what it's going to give me is the ability to mess with my section cuts, which makes it so I can see that wall next to it. There we go. Isn't that awesome? Thank you, Chief. Okay, there we go. We brought that into the room next to it. And the great part about this, once we back out and don't save is that we're going to go ahead and select this. Look at the line weights in this plan. Man, heavy line weights. I believe this is our backsplash. There we go. So we can dupe that and cross it over the middle of this room. And we're all set. The last part of this is maybe I want to put in a wall niche. So this should change its look drastically. There we go. We can see here we've got a problem here in our elevation. Probably, oh, this door needs to come up to 5 5/8. So and the last part of this is we want to make sure there's no molding on this side of this wall. So in our, no, it does say no room moldings, exterior and interior. Interesting. So why are we getting one? Very strange. Well, these particular projects, I don't have time to mess around with this stuff. So what we're going to do is going to create a room molding for our default base molding. And then when that's selected, our edit menu should change and I should be able to say no molding on this line. Very quick and easy fix for that. Just want to get rid of it. Last part is I want to make sure oops, didn't want to paint the room. I want to paint just that wall. Got to change that in my edit menu. As you can see, sometimes I just go too fast and I make mistakes. So we're going to make this whole section here tile. That looks a lot nicer, and then we're going to eliminate that tile against the side here. But before we do, I might just get rid of this whole vanity assembly. It's kind of goofy looking. Let's just check our shaker again. I'm also going to put a wall niche in that shower. Need to update my shakers so that they're all the same color, but let's go ahead and paint this room with that shaker cabinet. Here we go. And these sinks are just atrocious, so we're going to get rid of them. And in fact, these light fixtures are pretty bad as well. Let's go ahead and get a backsplash back on these. Let's make it a 5-inch splash. Why not? In fact, we could do a 6-inch splash, make it match that line of the wall there. It actually looks like it's matching at 5. So let's get a niche. I've got a filter on my library, so it's only showing me my library items. I want to go ahead and get a niche in here, and then I can edit it from a distance once it's placed. Just by, let's just select it, and now I can kind of move it around as I want it to be. Maybe we'll make a wide niche. So this is another fixture that I've created, and then it's in the settings, for the symbol settings, it inserts into a wall, and then you can set the offset based on that. And so long as this material is mapped globally, and it's not. So we need to fix this material. See how the tile has stretched itself? And this is in some of my tutorial videos. I've shown you how to make a shower before if you've never looked at the channel. So we're going to do global symbol mapping, and what that's going to do is going to make it so these tiles aren't stretched across here. There we go. Now they match up with the tiles next to them, and I can grab these, hit them on the side walls, and then this particular symbol is meant to have a grout line, so let's just kick this down just a little bit here. And I'll leave it red because I'm just going to change that in Twinmotion. No big deal. So there we go. So that shower is looking a lot nicer, way nicer. Let's go ahead and grab this paint color. We'll bring it over. We'll also grab the bath paint color and bring it over. Or actually, we might leave the bath color, because that way, if I wanted to, I could remove that backsplash in Twinmotion and still paint a different tile setup there. So let's just leave that for now. There we go. These are pretty ugly. Maybe we'll do our own. Let's get into my folders and then, oof, lots of lag. Okay. Let's go into my desktop, architectural sets, and get into our bath and, oh, forgot what I was doing. Oh, valves, shower valves. So let's get in shower assembly and let's get some shower valve and do one like this. That looks a little nicer than what we had before. And if we're worried about centering it up, we can, in fact, do our new centering by a point to point. And it's going to give us this X right there. And then I'm going to take this symbol, I'm going to bring him out a ½ an inch so he stands out from the backsplash. And then back in our perspective view, this particular valve has, it's modified in the symbol data box under our sizing panel, so that it's got a, you can see a split stretch plane in between the valves themselves, so that when we're stretching this out, it doesn't actually change. It doesn't actually change the size of the symbols the way you would. It shows them the way you would want them to be shown. So I'm gonna bring this up here. I'm not too worried about accuracy here because this is just supposed to be a visual representation for a client. I've got a few drains here. They're meant to be used with my shower room. My shower room actually has a raised floor, so it's a 2-inch raised floor. In fact, maybe we'll do a round drain since we're showing a hex tile, even though I'm not sure that that's what's going to be the final. And let's make sure we've got the back side of this painted. Okay, this room's looking way better. I do have a few things I could use in Twinmotion for mirrors and vanity lights, but for the purpose of this video, let's just get a couple of these going. And I want to pull back into my manufacturer catalogs for that. Let's get into, I like the Kohler catalog, easy one to navigate. Do an Archer undermount. Looks kind of nice. Why not? And let's see their bath sinks. I mean bath faucets, sink faucets. I do like their, everybody likes their Purist line. If you know where you're at in your XY plane, so right now that I know I'm kind of navigating plan north, I could just go in here like this instead of having to click the top of the symbol so that I get a different polarity on the move axis. I could go here and just move this relative to itself. I know that I'm in the Y delta and I can move it like a -2 inches. And it's going to do what I want it to do. So there you go. And then I can center it up on this cabinet. And last bit is just let's copy and and reflect about center. And we can reflect in between these two right here. Or we could have just done center of the other cabinet. This is kind of a nice guess and check though, to make sure that what you're doing here is in fact uniform, like that these cabinets are in fact equal, especially if you're working with someone else's plan like I am right now. I'm going to move this 1 more inch here, -1 inch. And let's look at some mirrors that I might have in my catalogs. I typically don't like to have vanities at the far end like this. It tucks those mirrors in so tight you don't have the option for a sconce then. And let's go ahead and see what we have in terms of sconces. Apparently nothing. This is probably fine. If I want something different, I can replace it in Twinmotion itself, because Twinmotion has its own lighting. Same thing, gonna center it up and dupe it over. Last part of this, let's just replace this guy. In fact, we're going to replace identical objects on the floor. Decor, single lamp, double. I don't like that one. Let's get back into the manufacturer catalogs. There we go. That's better. Oh, didn't change all that. I'm gonna have to change that. I can change that through the defaults. I'll do that a little bit later. When I get back in here, make sure that I didn't forget that this is actually the master bath. And types. Master bedroom, excuse me. We'll put things like towel bars and everything like that in Twinmotion itself, so I'm not too worried about it. Here's a garage. Let's get out of there. Looks like our kitchen itself has a different ground level. Very strange. Got a split ground level here. Structure, default, 7/8. That's right. Floor level is 133 3/4. Looks like he's got a split floor and he's not driving things by his defaults, although he is here 133 7/8. 1/8 of an inch off. Okay. It's gonna pop that up. Oh, looks like I've got something funny happening in this. Can have that overlap, that's fine. What is this? Part of a fireplace, okay. And let's just get that up above the ceiling plane. It's like another hallway, okay. And this looks like it's another bedroom. Control tab will get you to your other tab in Chief Architect. And let's get out of this view and over to what we're looking at here, which is bedroom number 2 is what that is. So Control tab again gets me back to here, and I've got a bedroom 2 room right here. There we go. Oops. Okay, this is going to be a closet. We know that. Looks like we've got a wall not lined up here. Let's take a look at that. This is common for this particular builder. Doesn't like to line up his walls. Frustrating. Let's turn off line weight so we can see it. Yep. There we go. And that snap point, that's our primary snap point. If you're unfamiliar and this first time you're viewing anything like this and you want to take a look at your preferences, preferences are global, whereas default settings are plan specific or layout specific. So if we look at our snap properties, our indicator color, my indicator color is black, and I've got an indicator size of 23, which is a little higher than the out-of-the-box settings, as well as extension color being pink, and you can see the associated snap icons, or buttons as Chief calls them, so that when I select this and I start moving it around, you can see I got a black triangle there. That's a primary snap point. And if I go look at my snaps up here at the very top and do like a little mouse over, what it should show you is that's our intersection snap. So that's where a wall intersects with another wall. Good to know that stuff. Okay, so let's navigate back to our, that should have fixed itself there right in front of us. Little anomaly. You know, some people are kind of a fan of this. If you set up your materials in a particular way, you'll get to get one of these perspective floor overviews where you can set up your camera to be center on, well, before we get too far, let's see if we can show our camera. So I need to turn on Aldo just for a second. Let's get our perspective cameras turned on, which will show me the camera that we have active right now, which is this guy right here. And I'm going to place him way over here. And let's just open up his settings. And I'm going to change the field of view to something like 10. Excuse me, 10. Actually, if I put 0, it'll default to 10 anyways. Tilt angle is going to be -90. And let's just say we're 5,000 inches above. Let's go ahead and show shadows, and then we'll change some of the light settings as well, so that when we go back into this camera, it's going to update with a nice overhead view that's, oh, we've got a little tilt going on here. Camera angle, let's go -90 is fine. And let's adjust our sunlight. Use a generic sun. Let's go something like, remove a couple of these zeros. Or let's go 10,000, and then we're going to actually make it a dark sun here. The next part is that we want to make sure all of our lights are turned on so that we're illuminating. So let's just do default light set. There we go. And then you can work on your material settings so that these show up the way that you would like them to. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. I'm going to change it to my own material. Sorry, lots of lag going on here. Let's see, flooring. And let's do Oh, we've got this one. This one's actually meant to blend with materials. This is probably the most I've spent on one of these flooring setups. I'm choosing this first in the texture panel because I want to create a pattern from that texture, and it's going to be very easy for me to do that using this method. Then I'm going to keep this pattern and texture in sync, go back in here and load the actual texture that I like to bring in, which in this case is going to be diffuse mixer, and that's just for the purpose of showing you what this does. Next is I'll put in a bump map, which in this case I just have my ambient occlusion map. I could actually put in a normal map, but we'll go ahead and stop that for now. We'll put in our ambient occlusion map, which helps for those scenarios when the scene is not properly lit. And the purpose of this particular diffuse channel map is for blend with texture. And it's so that you get the most realistic blending with texture, because otherwise it really doesn't look that good. So this enables us to do some funny things like making a dark green floor still look pretty good. For the case in point, let's just let's go ahead and kill this. I'm not going to do that blend with texture. We're going to go ahead and bring in this other guy, which has got a color that I like. Now, when we come back into this view, I'm going to edit the rendering technique for this view so that we've got a line drawing on top. Now you can see that my texture didn't actually do the line drawing quite as pronounced as I would have liked it to, so we're going to have to redo that pattern from texture. So one more time, let's grab this AO map and pattern from texture, and we're going to go ahead and pump this up a little bit. Oops, excuse me, down a little bit is what I meant. And let's go ahead and change this color back. For illustrative purposes. Oops, I hit OK and I didn't mean to. There we go. Now we should see some pattern in the floor itself. If we don't, I don't know what to tell you. And it looks like we don't. Still have a hard line in this kitchen, so it looks like this kitchen is still not the correct height. We've got floor is at the default height. Let's get our flooring finish back to default. We might be seeing the line of the soffit as well. I don't know what's going on with this floor. Don't have a default floor there. Maybe covered porch. Let's change this to actually a porch and get the settings that come along with that. It's going to retain a ceiling and a roof. That's fine. There we go. But this is just for the purpose of showing this rendering technique. Oh, see, we did get some lines. You can see here that the pattern is at a 90 degrees, so that's something that you'd have to fix. One more time. Okay, now we're going to be at 0. There we go. At 0, at 0. Now keep pattern and texture in sync. Anyways, this is a pretty good illustrative view. I really like this view. Definitely helps convey a floor plan, so long as you have light sources. And this guy over here, far right hand corner, that is also going to be bedroom 2. Okay, let's call it bedroom 3 instead. Now, X-13 is doing this thing now where, since this flooring is replacing the default flooring, this room should have had that same default flooring, but X-13 creates new material IDs when it's introducing something from an outside source like a style palette. So pretty interesting. It's a new feature to me. I also love the ability to change our make duplicate materials on the fly. That's a great addition. Let's go ahead and close this window. Oh, instead of chunking this camera through the whole plan, let's just grab it. That way we can just pop it into this bathroom over here. Oh, actually, we need to be in this bathroom right here. Focal point is way out there. Okay, look at that ugly bath. Let's just get rid of the whole thing. And I've got a pre-done bath assembly. Place it in place. Yeah, it's going to conflict. That's fine. We'll get this in here, rotate it around, center it in between the walls. Hopefully he has 5-foot walls drawn. Maybe he doesn't. Doesn't look like he does. And in fact, this particular symbol needs to be butt to framing. So let's unblock it. It's going to keep everything selected. And then let's do a point to point on this inside edge. Is going to go. Oops, I did a little too much actually. And looks like we've got another wall alignment issue. This is not lining up with the exterior wall, so let's get that lined up. And this bathtub's too big. Again, this particular project is just graphical in nature, so I'm not too worried about it. And it looks like it's a smaller bathtub, so let's get it just inside a little bit. Oh, we've got more wall alignment issues. Looks like my backsplashes are drawn underground. So let's find out where are we here? So our floor is at 133. Let's go find my backsplashes. Who knows? Who knows where they ended up? Very interesting. So we got some funny floor settings in here. I'm just not thinking of what the solution might be, so I'm just going to have to draw some new ones. Could try to move this to an absolute location, Y position. Let's try that real quick. Yeah, that did work. Same thing, gonna grab this backsplash, and in fact, since we're at it, grab this backsplash as well. So contained, and let's do our move and our absolute location again. There we go. And that's just to locate the center of that backsplash. So we're still gonna have to drag up the tops. Last bit of this is I have a tool that is, well, I've got a bath wall to use with bath shower door. Look at this funny little thing I've got here. So if I place this right on the center of that bathtub, and then I've got a bath door built specifically for this Rab's bath door. And it takes a little bit of tweaking. We want to center this on this section. Just going to drop this down. There we go. Yeah, that's looking pretty sharp. Let's see, we've got some, I think I've got a pre-built vanity. In fact, I have a pre-built vanity in my bathroom toolbar set. There we go, right there. So let's just drop him in. In fact, I'm going to let's move this over for now. Actually, no, we'll just unblock it. We'll unblock the big boy, and we're going to bring him over just a little bit, 3 inches, and then we will highlight everything but that vanity and center it up. And let's take a look at what this looks like in 3D. And then let's just draw that. I still like that same shaker cabinet. Let's go, I'll paint this room. Go ahead, add this backsplash. Oops. All right, this room's looking a lot better, And we come into the neighboring bedroom that way, so let's open this door up. Okay. Great. Big blank wall. Interesting design. Always interesting design with this designer. So we got a whole lower floor, but I'm going to take a break. Thank you for anyone that was watching this. Also, just Thank you if you're reviewing this. I know it gets saved on my channel. And leave some comments if you guys want something, improved in this process. I'm literally just recording myself as I go through these things. I'm going to come back into this kitchen and do some more design because this island is hideous and I want to fix that. I want to fix a few other things. So that'll be in another video. But yeah, if you've got any questions, you got any comments, you've got any advice on how to make this particular experience better, if you want to see certain things that I can incorporate into finishing a job, this is helpful. I'm finishing my own project here, but at the same time maybe giving some educational tools to you. So thanks again.